country music campaigners, such as promoter-songwriter W. Lee Pappy O'Daniel, who fought for pensions for the elderly and attacked poll taxes for holding back poor whites. Senatorial candidate and car manufacturer Henry Ford, who financed a revival of old-time music and square dancing in the late 1920s, partly with the aim of curtailing Jewish influences on American culture, seemed to draw much of his own playbook from Watson's anti-Semitic screeds and conspiratorial yellow journalism. Watson's penchant for scapegoating African Americans and defending segregation during his 1920 campaign for Senate went places that segregationist candidate George C. Wallace and his Grand Ole Opry campaigners did not in his gubernatorial and presidential races in the 1960s and 70s, but the same spirit seemed to animate both men. Near the end of his career, Watson seems to have hired others to play on his behalf, and he was memorialized in a recorded song, Fiddlin' John Carson's Tom Watson Special. Today, recorded music is the norm at rallies. Campaigns seem incomplete without appearances and endorsements by superstars such as Willie Nelson, Hank Williams Jr., and Ralph Stanley, who sometimes find that, yes, a fiddle can still be a big help in a political fight. Country music politics is still haunted by Tom Watson. That specter continues to hang over those who use country music to further their political careers. In the 20th century, country music was not just a campaign tool, but a valuable political asset, and at times, a central component of a politician's image and identity, not just among Southern politicians, but also Westerners, Midwesterners, and even a few fleeting Easterners, such as hair tonic salesman Edward Doc Bowen, who ran for Congress in the 1930s in the counties just north and east of New York City. In the wrong hands, though, country music could be used by opponents to assail a candidate's seriousness or fitness for office. Scholars have filled volumes on the connections between cultural politics, political activism, and genres and subgenres ranging from early Tin Pan Alley to late hip-hop. Some have dismissed country music as largely parochial and conservative or even apolitical, while extolling the political messages of these other forms. Yet the actual historical record shows that when politicians have used music to get elected and push issues, country music was by far the most politicized. Between 1878 and the turn of the 21st century, country music and its predecessors and related genres, old-time fiddle, cowboy, hillbilly, and bluegrass music, were central aspects of campaigning for more than a dozen major party governors, several congressmen, at least 7 U.S. senators, a Senate minority and a Senate majority leader, as well as major third-party candidates. Watson and Senator Glenn Taylor were vice presidential candidates for the Populist and Progressive parties, respectively, and Governor George Wallace was the presidential nominee of the American Independent Party. By the 1970s, Richard M. Nixon officially welcomed country music into the White House when he inaugurated a National Country Music Month, and country music influenced one of his television commercials in his bid for re-election. Every president since has used country music or associations with country music in some way or another during their campaigns. Understanding the connection between country music and electoral politics gives us a glimpse into how politicians used celebrity long before the rise of the movie actor president and the Twitter president, and it offers both lessons and warnings about the way politics and entertainment interact in our ever-expanding media universe. Indeed, several generations before the rise of Hollywood performer politicians such as Helen Gahagan Douglas, Ronald Reagan, and George Murphy in the mid-1940s and 1950s, country music politicians have become an established part of the national political system, especially in the West and the South. The use of country music on the campaign trail has changed over time. Transformations in technology are an important part of this story. The earliest practitioners, like Watson, were country lawyers with dreams of high political office who also happened to have amateur fiddle skills. They were country politics' experimental pioneers, relying on word of mouth and the sound of a fiddle to draw or hold a crowd. Over time, new technologies such as phonograph recordings and radio created opportunities for performers to professionalize. Some of these performers then sought to capitalize on their celebrity and run for office.